The text message sat on my phone like a slap I couldn't hear, but felt anyway. I was standing at the kitchen sink when it came through, hands wet, a plate slipping slightly in my grip. The afternoon light was thin and pale, the kind that makes everything look unfinished. My phone buzzed once, sharp and impatient, and when I glanced down, I saw my sister's name.
Lena.
I wiped my hands on a dish towel that smelled faintly of lemon soap and tapped the screen without thinking. You're not invited to the wedding.
It's a classy event.
That was it.
No hello. No explanation.
Just that sentence, sitting there with a little period at the end, neat and final. For a moment, I honestly thought I'd misunderstood. Like maybe there was another message coming right after, something to soften it. A joke. A clarification. My phone stayed quiet. I felt something hollow out in my chest, slow and deliberate, like air leaving a balloon. I reread the words, my thumb hovering over the screen. Classy event. As if I were something that might stain the tablecloths just by being present. I turned the phone face down and leaned against the counter. The hum of the refrigerator sounded louder than it should have. Somewhere outside, a car door slammed. Life kept moving, unaware that something small but sharp had just lodged itself inside me. I didn't cry right away. I just stood there, staring at the chipped edge of the counter I'd been meaning to fix for years, thinking, is this really how she chose to tell me? Lena and I were only 2 years apart. Growing up, people liked to say we were opposites. She was polished even as a teenager, hair always smooth, nails done, voice practiced. I was the one with scraped knees and loud opinions, the one who laughed too hard and said the wrong thing at dinner. Our mother used to joke that Lena came out wearing pearls, and I came out barefoot. Still, we were sisters. Or at least I thought we were. Before that text, my life was ordinary in the best, most forgettable way. I worked as a receptionist at a small dental office. Nothing glamorous, but steady. I liked the rhythm of it. The ring of the phone, the soft whir of equipment behind closed doors, the way patients' shoulders dropped when I smiled and said, "We'll take care of you." I lived alone in a modest 2-bedroom house with creaky floors and a porch that caught the morning sun just right. On Sundays, I made myself pancakes and ate them standing up, looking out at the quiet street. Lena's life, on the other hand, always felt like it belonged in a magazine. She worked in marketing, wore heels even on weekends, posted filtered photos from restaurants where the plates looked like art projects. When she announced she was getting married, it came with an engagement shoot, a hashtag, and a carefully curated story about fate and timing. I was genuinely happy for her. Or at least I believed I was. When she first told me about the wedding, we were sitting in our mother's living room. Mom had just poured coffee, the cheap kind she liked, strong enough to make your eyes water. Lena held out her hand, the ring catching the light, and Mom gasped like she was supposed to. I remember smiling, reaching out to hug her, smelling her perfume, something expensive and floral. "We're keeping it elegant," Lena had said, smoothing her dress. "Very refined." I nodded, sipping my coffee, not realizing those words were already drawing a line. After the text, I did what I always did when I didn't know how to feel. I called my mother. She answered on the second ring. "Hi, sweetheart," she said, cheerful. I could hear the television in the background, some afternoon talk show murmuring about celebrity gossip. "Did you know I wasn't invited to Lena's wedding?" I asked. My voice sounded calm, which surprised me. There was a pause. Then, on the other end of the line, my mother laughed. Not a nervous chuckle, not an awkward little sound. A full, amused laugh, like I'd just told her something mildly entertaining. "Oh, don't be so sensitive," she said. "You know how your sister is." The laugh hit harder than the text. I pressed the phone tighter to my ear, as if I'd misheard. "She said it's a classy event," I repeated, the words tasting bitter. Mom sighed, the way she always did when she thought I was being difficult. "Lena just wants a certain atmosphere. You've never really been into those things." "Into what things? Dresses? Quiet voices? Knowing which fork to use?" I opened my mouth to argue, then closed it. I could already hear where it would go. Me overreacting. Lena misunderstood. Peace at all costs. Okay, I said finally. After we hung up, I sat at the kitchen table for a long time, my phone still face down. I stared at the faint coffee ring someone, probably me, had left months ago. I thought about all the small moments that suddenly looked different in hindsight. The way Lena had stopped inviting me to certain dinners. The way she corrected my grammar in front of her friends. The way Mom always smoothed things over with a joke instead of standing up for me. At first, I told myself it was just a wedding. One day. People get weird about weddings. I try to let it go. But once that door opens, the one where you realize you're being quietly pushed out, it's hard to close it again. Over the next few days, little things began to itch at me. Lena's social media filled with updates about dress fittings and venue tours. Mutual relatives chatted excitedly in group messages I was still part of, assuming I was attending. No one seemed to know I wasn't invited. Or maybe they did, and no one thought it was strange enough to mention. I started to feel like a ghost in my own family. Present but unseen. Connected but not included. One evening, I stood in front of my closet, fingers brushing past dresses I'd worn to past family events. Nothing fancy, but clean, cared for. I wondered what, exactly, disqualified me. My job?
My laugh.
The fact that I'd never learned how to be small? The question sat with me, heavy and unanswered. And somewhere deep inside, beneath the confusion and hurt, a quieter feeling began to stir. Not anger yet, just a slow, uncomfortable awareness that this wasn't just about a wedding. It was about who they thought I was and who they decided I would never be.